Hello guys, Blacksmith Bets here. So you've seen the title of this video, pretty clickbaity. Truth is, there's no silver bullet in sports betting. I wish there was, it'd be super easy. But this is I guess this is as close as a silver bullet as what you can get. Because in certain situations, this is just easy to make money. So this is something that everyone's missing, at least from the UK. In the US, people seem to be pretty clued up and they use these strategies regularly, but people don't really apply it to football and other sports that are outside of the US. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because sports betting is more of a cloak and dagger thing over here, but it's an interesting topic. And when it comes to the US, I think it's underrated as well. Now, let me preface this. This is not to replace your analysis, your basic capping. That is always the foundation of everything you do. You cannot just blindly bet using these strategies and win. But sometimes these strategies will show you when there's going to be a trap or when to bet the side that your analysis is saying is the right side to bet. So you can use it to reinforce your plays, or what I often use this for is to highlight when I shouldn't make a play. Most people, including a lot of casual bettors, square bettors, whatever you want to call them, can make money. They can find games that win, where they mess up, and their books love this because they make their platforms to be addictive, and gambling by nature is very addictive. The way they get their money out of you is by making sure that you make other bets that are wrong. And so many times you will go to make a bet and say, I don't know if I should do that, but you do it anyway. Hopefully these things I'm going to tell you are going to help you, one, have more confidence in the bets that you do lay, and make sure that you don't make the bets that are taking your profit away. So, what I'm going to talk about is not rocket science. It's stuff I talk about in my free group. Join the Telegram, it's in the description by the way. People keep commenting and asking, where's the link to your Telegram? It's always in the description. And if I ever forget in a video, like some of my older videos, well, sorry, you're going to have to get over that. Moving forward, it will always be in there though. I'll make it easy for you guys. So, these are things I talk about a lot, and it can be used more so in soccer, in football, for us lot over this side of the pond. Also, MMA is pretty good as well, because these are two sports that have, I think, fairly big, sharp, square divides. With football, the reason there's a big, sharp, square divide is because the squares always bet the favourites. In MMA, it is very similar, except for there are a lot of public underdogs in MMA when it's a fighter who has a big reputational name, or they've just had a big viral knockout or something and everyone thinks they're great because that's the only fight they've ever watched. But these are the two sports I think can work very well, but it works with others. The reason I'm making this video today is because last night I backed the Celtics, I backed their team total to go over, and I backed them to win by the spread. Everyone was on the Pacers. And look, I know in the first game that they had, the Celtics did win, but it was a much closer game than everyone thought. There were so many things that pointed to the Celtics. I could not believe that people were backing the Pacers so heavily. But I'm not really an NBA specialist, but the fact that the public were on the Pacers made me even more confident to do that. That's why I put two plays in the same game, which both were based on the same consensus, because I was that confident. I don't normally do that. So, the 2 or 3 things that we want to consider are the books. You can't read this board, by the way, so don't try and read along with me. It's just for my reference and for dramatic effect. Books make money. We know this. Books are so profitable in the UK, they pay 50% tax, which is a lot of tax for a business. Most businesses don't pay that much. And us, the punters, even if we make money, we don't have to pay tax. And that's why they like banning us and restricting us so much over here. In the US, apparently it's a lot nicer. It's like the land of milk and honey in certain states. I'll preface that. But you've got sharp books that cater to high rollers and stuff like that. We don't have that over here. You've got account managers who give you bonuses when you've been betting a certain amount. Don't happen over here. They think of us as mug punters, and if we're not mug punters, they hate us even more. So they detest the people who lose money and who are given the money, and they hate us cappers who make profit. So it's very ruthless over here. The one thing that we know about books, I was getting a bit sidetracked then. The one thing we know is they make money. They've got the best data set in the world, and their business is making money out of us. So their lines are not always super accurate. That's how we make money. We find inefficiencies in the market. But sometimes they will leave inefficiencies because, if 90% of people back one side, which is going to be the losing side, and we back the winning side, they're not too bothered about having to pay us out, us 10%, whatever it is, who bet on that other side. And this is what I'm going to talk about. This is where you can use their information against them to win. So the books make money, mugs lose. Mug punters lose money. That's what they call losing sports bettors in the UK. The industry calls them that, and they call certain sports mug punter sports because they're so hard to be profitable. So we know that, we accept that. We accept that the books, most of the time, get it right and know what the lines are going to do. Once we accept that, we accept they've got the best data money can buy, they spend a lot of money making sure they're efficient. We know that the books, most of the time, get it right. That means, through understanding the lines and seeing where the public are betting on, we can figure out where the value is. The books are telling us who's going to win. We're using their resources against them. The reason why the average person does not do this, though, is because they always want to win. And of course we want to win, but let me explain this. What I mean is, they want to win every night. They're not like us professionals. Us professionals don't care. As long as we make profit at the end of the month, year, whatever, we do not care. We will back something at crazy big odds if it's good value, knowing that it will probably lose, because we know if we keep playing odds like that over time, they will be profitable. This is the mindset you have to change if you're an average sports bettor who's still trying to pick winners, because the favourites 95% of the time will not have any good value on it. Otherwise, the bookies would not make money and mug punters would not lose all the time. So, therefore, we can say books know who's going to win. Use the bookies' info against them. This is where it comes in. Line history. This is the one thing you can do if you really want to understand what the books are trying to achieve. You can go into a website like Odds Checker, the one I use. You can look at the line history. For football, it's a bit different because you have draw and you also have two sides win and lose. So you've got home and away and the draw line. You are trying to find a situation, and not every game will appear like this. So you've got to analyse a lot of different games. But you want to find a situation where the book is trying to entice you to bet the losing side. A good example of this could be, let's say you've got a game where it's kind of 50-50. So say each team to win, say they're at, I don't know what odds it would be at football, something like 2.30 odds each side, and then the draw's like 3.10 odds. You look at the public betting splits. I use VISN. I think they're the best. They use DraftKings data, but they have a lot of different sports. I used to use Action Network. They never had soccer, football bets, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I don't know. I'm not just going to trigger people from either side of the pond, whatever. You know what I mean. That's the important thing. They don't have those sports. Their MMA data as well wasn't good. VISN seems to be the most reliable, and you can also corroborate this by understanding the market. When I say that, I mean, for example, when Man City play a low-level team, you know that 90% of people are going to be backing Man City in some form. So you can also use your knowledge of the game. You don't always need to have these splits to tell you who's betting on what. So the line history. In that situation, the lines are even for both teams. Then we look at the public betting splits. If we see that 70% of people are on the team over here, let's say the home team is here, the away team is here. 70% of people are here, 30% of people are here. But the books have got the odds the same. What does that tell you? That tells you that they are trying to bait you into betting this team. The reason that they're trying to do that is because they've got 70% of people, and probably more people are putting bets on, because 7 out of 10 people are betting this side. So that means people think this is a good value. So that means they found a nice odd at there. If more people start betting this side, they will start increasing the odds on this side to try and lure people in. So when you can understand that they're trying to make you bet on this team instead of this team, that's when you know, well, hold on, I smell a rat here. Why are they trying to make me bet the home team? It's because they expect them to lose or to draw. And this is when you look at these two selections, draw and the away team. If the odds are going up for the draw, but they are being pushed down for the away team, then you can say, okay, so they're trying to discourage me from taking the draw. Or maybe they're trying to encourage me from taking the draw by putting the odds up, making it more attractive. They're trying to discourage me from taking this one by making the odds worse. That means they think this team's going to win, so I'm going to back them. It's not always that black and white, but that's the principle. If we look at a more exaggerated situation, we will have perhaps like Man City, let's say, versus a weaker team here. 90% of people are on Man City, say they're at 1.40 odds. Here, let's say the away side is 7.0 decimal odds and the draw is 5.0 decimal odds. Everyone's going to be betting Man City, betting them because they always back the winner in football. You see that the odds are going up for the away team, so they're going up, and they're also going up for City, so they're trying to trap people on both sides, but the draw's going down. You know that the book is expecting it to either be a draw or, for what the odds are, they think that's a good value. The way I'm explaining it now, you're probably not going to get it straight away. The important thing is to keep understanding this, how it works, and over time, because when I first heard this, I didn't quite get it. I will post a tutorial at some point talking you through step by step. That's the basic premise. The books are going to try to trap you to bet the side that's going to lose, and they're not always right. That's the caveat, but most of the time they know what's going to happen, or they've got a pretty good idea what's going to happen. So, once we know that they're trying to manipulate us into betting one particular side, we know, one, there's no value on that side, because if 70% of people are on this team and they are trying to convince us to bet that side, the books are in the business of making money. They don't want to give money away, so that means they know this is bad value. So that doesn't mean that this team's necessarily going to win, but it means that they think it's a bigger possibility if the odds are getting pushed down, or if no one's betting that side, because they don't care. If 90% of people are on this side and only 5% of people are on this side, they don't care about paying that 5% out, except they do, because they're so friggin' greedy. Right before the kickoff, they will push the odds down a little bit to try and limit any damages, any payouts that they have from people coming in. So these are little things you can look out for. Obviously, the lines will move naturally when people are putting bets on, but you're looking for more exaggerated information. And over time of doing this, you will begin to learn it. We've got the analysis as well. Our analysis is always going to be the main thing that we use to get our consensus. But when we look at public betting splits and line history, we can combine that with our analysis to tell us if we're on point. So if those two things line up with our analysis, then we know that we're onto a winner, we back it. If we have our analysis, but the betting splits and the line history are pointing the opposite way, that's when we want to go back, because we've probably missed something. If it's a sport we're not too confident with, like basketball, with me for example, I will just not place the bet. But if those two things line up, I know I'm probably correct. And that's how you use it. You use their information against them. You can do this on so many different sports. MMA is a very good one to do it on as well, because people in MMA back the favourites, because they just pick favourites to parlay together, even if they don't know who they are, or they back fighters whose names that they know, if they know them for a big knockout or because of their celebrity. So what you can see when that happens is, say, 80% of people bet Conor McGregor because he's Conor McGregor. He's at the moment, there's 1.90 odds with Chandler. If 70% of people back McGregor and they're both at 1.90 odds, that's 50-50, you can tell the books will expect Conor to lose. That means you want to take Chandler. That's an example of that situation. Otherwise, they would push the line down on Conor, because if 70% of people are betting at Conor, they don't want to pay 70% of people out at 1.90 odds, so they would start pushing that line down. This is the principles. I know you're not going to get it straight away, but I'm going to keep making content about it, and eventually it's going to drill itself into your head. That's what I wanted to cover today. If you start doing this, you start looking at line history, looking at public betting splits and doing your own analysis, you will start picking up these patterns and it will make you rich. You will start winning. It's how I do a lot of my analysis. It's how I confirm that I'm onto the right track. Or, like in the last week, I've not been posting as many plays and we've been doing very well. That's because I've not been taking plays that have been wiped out. I've erased them from my playlist because these things did not line up. Start doing it because it will make you money, I promise.